the Crabane here to stay. He has, what, 3, 6, 9, 13 Crabane in his list. He has 7 Crabane, which in the final came up huge against Robin. This is crazy.
It's impossible for anyone really to deal with them.
Is it a Crabane takeover?
Oh.
Sam, you're literally Frodo right now.
He is the hero.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gollum's Gamers and to the September edition of MESBG Monthly, which is a series where myself and Ali, who joins me today for the Spotify listeners, aim to keep you updated on all things MESBG from the previous and upcoming month. Now, at the end of the episode, we'll be answering a question from the audience. So if there's a question that comes to mind throughout the episode that you'd like answered for next time, then be sure to leave it down in the comment section here on YouTube. But before we get underway, as this is the first video that we've recorded in quite a while, as our last video with Jakob that went out was actually pre-recorded quite a while ago. So I just wanted to thank everyone for helping us reach 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I'm super happy with sort of how the channel has been coming along lately and all that sort of thing. Seems like everyone has been really enjoying all the content that we've been putting out this year, which really does mean a lot. So thank you very much to everyone who enjoys everything that we do here on the channel. Ali, you've been quite a key part of the channel this year. Is there anything sentimental that you wanted to share with us here as you reflect? Anything that comes to mind? No. I have put him on the spot here. I didn't tell him that I was going to be getting all cute. But no, nothing at all.
You're here to be cute. I'm here to be
just factual and boring. Okay, fine. Yeah. I sort of spruce it up. Okay,
that is my role. If we wanted a cute and enthusiasm, we should have got Vince on for this.
Maybe we should. That would have definitely sweetened the deal. But no, thank you very much to everyone. Yeah, sort of engages with all that stuff and all that. It really does mean a lot. So I also wanted to give a really big thanks to everyone who tuned into the Ardacon live streams. If you missed those, they're available to go back and watch on the channel. But the weekend was a really big success. I think it seems like everyone really enjoyed the weekend of coverage, and I've had some really great feedback, which is obviously good to hear. I had a great time sort of at the event, meeting some of the international community, which is something I've never really had a chance to do before. So that was really cool. And all of the games that we had on stream were really great. So special thanks to everyone who tuned in. And to James and all of the Ardacon team as well. While we're on the topic of tournament live streams, I wanted to remind you all that our very first tournament, the Lemon Cup, is only a couple of weeks away now. So for more information and to get your tickets, I'll leave the link to the event page and the preview podcast that we did to talk about the event in a bit more detail down in the description. I will also be live streaming the tournament as well, as I mentioned. So it's only a couple of weeks away now. So I really do hope to see everyone over on the live stream again on the 20th and 21st of September for hopefully another great weekend of tournament action. As always, though, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. And also, please consider subscribing to us here on YouTube. So, as we kick things off with the first GBHL 100 from August, we have One Ring to Rule the Bubbles, which Ali and I were both at, although I wasn't there for very long. I went home because I was very unwell after the first 2 games. Do not go on holiday, come back at 2 a.m. and then wake up at 6 a.m. to go to a 2-day tournament that weekend straight afterwards. It's not a good idea. So, in the first spot, we have David Farmer with the Usurpers of Edoras. So, familiar name, new army list. We will come on to that. In second place, Jasmine Tetley, no stranger here, with the Depths of Moria. But yeah, we've seen the Depths all year long. And then in third place, Ali King, back again with his Khazad-dûm. But sorry, I say back again. This is your
this is the first time I used Khazad-dûm this edition.
Right. First time this edition. Okay, but I feel like obviously we talked about it in the preview. Like I feel like we spoke about it.
Yeah, because the preview happened. Yeah, because our timelines are getting.
It does. Yes.
So
is this your first GBHL 100 podium with Khazad-dûm since you won the league? Must be. You've done it with other dwarves.
I haven't really taken Khazad-dûm that much. Because last year I didn't even go to many events, and I think I only took them to one event. And then the year before that is so long ago.
So when did you win the league? 2021? Was it the COVID year?
Yeah, it'd be 2021. 21, 22. I don't know. God,
Yeah,
Jesus, it's
sure.
so long ago now.
Well, there you go. So first time in quite a while, but they're back on top. Well, in third in this case. So Bobbles was 800 points, but I guess starting with Usurpers, and we will come on to Usurpers a little bit more later as well, but which is a little bit of a tease there. But Farmer, with the new list now, obviously this comes hot off the heels of the Nations Cup, where there was quite the Crabane sort of rising. So Farmer's list for the Spotify listeners is Frecker, Wolf on Horse, and 2 Hill Tribes chieftains. One of them has a 2-handed weapon, but he has 3, 6, 9, 13 Crabane in his list at 800 points. He still has 58 models. So Ali, you actually played against Farmer here in the final round. So
I played on the final 2 rounds.
On the list. Oh yes, you did. Of course, yes. So what do you think? Sort of Usurpers in general, and
yeah. So this is what I call a classic tournament list. So if you are just playing casually and you can take as much time as you want, while this list is good, it won't actually be as effective as it is in a tournament. I know Farmer mentioned on the preview, one of the thing about having 13 Crabane and the fact that they can't be trapped now and they can basically get wherever you want them to. It's almost less with this list about getting objectives like it would have been last edition. It's the fact you can delay the enemy's army so well. Like it's there going, either it's a whole extra turn they can't kill and break you, or actually it probably ends up being 2 or 3 turns for a lot of armies, or it's kind of, say you're playing a scenario like Hold Ground where everyone's trying to run to the middle. Those Crabane can just fly in and then pin down the enemy army, and then the horde of tribesmen get to the middle, and then because you're on a clock essentially in a tournament,
they don't have time,
and they either won't have time to actually get there, or then it gets to the point where you actually maybe break them, but because all of their models on the objective and it's an end game sort of narrative and that.
Then, if you're not going to get to the middle first in that specific example, like if you literally just if they deploy all together on that one side of the board and you could just put 13 cav bases like in a line, it is going to take so long for them to actually get through all of them, and then you just swan to the middle.
And it's 13 cav bases that you're going to have to win and wound
4 times each.
So it's really like the part of the reason. So I played Farm twice. I drew with him at Divide and Conquer, and then I lost at Fog of War, and I could kill the Crabane quicker than anyone else had done in that tournament because of where I had Iron Guard, rerolling 1s to wound, and a healthy portion of dice rolls on my side, if you ask Farmer. But it's there going, even I couldn't quite kill them. Like, so in Hold Ground, I just about got through enough to be able to pull the draw out. But then in Fog of War, despite my army absolutely destroying his on paper, it wasn't like it was short round times, and it wasn't like there was any slow play or anything like that. It just delays the game so much that
you don't have time to then.
I was still pinned in an area, and he could go get the other objective. So that's where the real strength of this list comes with the Crabane, and it's impossible for anyone really to deal with them because you can't shoot them, you can't reliably kill them because you can't trap them now.
Are the Crabane here to stay? Is it a Crabane takeover here in the GBHL?
Yeah, yes and no. It's not the only thing that makes this list work. But
Wolf be good. Wolf be very good.
So yeah, actually, since you brought up Wolf is horrendously underrated. And I remember when his profile first came out, because it was the first leak we got the new edition. Everyone was just like, they're going, reroll 1s to wound.
He was meant to be the big bad boy.
Didn't feel that way. And I'm not saying he's the greatest person, but in this list he doesn't have to be the leader. So his slightly flimsy defense and as big a boy, but because the army get +1 to wound against heroes, he's fight 6, he has strike, he's got a horse, he's disposable. He can actually do something this list can't do anywhere else, is that he can deal with things, or he can.
You don't need him to be so OP and busted that he can carry you to wins, but he fills a role where like you say, he can do things that you couldn't do before, which can help you win games. So
it is an example of a model where if you put him in a different list, he's probably not very worthwhile. He has no role, or someone else does that role better. In this list, he is the only person who can do that role, and he can actually do it pretty well. And then beyond that, it's a pretty high model count list. 58 models at 800. You're probably still going to be outnumbering nearly anyone who's not also a full-on horde.
It's interesting though, isn't it, that we're seeing sort of like this with like hill tribesmen and then like Army of the White Hand again with a lot of hill tribesmen and like just cheap stuff, but then it all just kind of fits in with like different tech. And
so horde armies usually do better naturally in time scenarios and a lot of objectives, because if you've got more models, you can do more things and you can cover more ground. They tend to suffer though, and once you get probably beyond the 800 points, when your other army suddenly have. I always used to think 40 was the kind of minimum model count where you can then compete in every single scenario. I haven't done enough of the new scenarios to say that's still true, but you're there going, as soon as the slightly better troops model count goes up as well, it tends to be when horde starts dropping. I think this is probably the last point where it's essentially the Crebain keep them competitive, because the Crebain can hold up those elite. Which,
what a world we live in.
Yeah, to bring it all back round, it's there going like, it is the Crebain that takes this list from just being your standard horde to the next level.
Being, a tier up. A Crebain available online right now? I wonder if there's suddenly going to not be with all the recent success they're having. I don't know. It's just interesting. Sort of the world.
It's essentially because it's a horde. Crebain are cheap enough, and hill tribesmen are cheap enough. You can get a lot of both.
You can fit it all in, and he's still got 58 models at 800. Now, if you want to hear sort of Farmer's take on the list, obviously this was before the tournament, but we did a preview for this event, which is up on the channel that we had Farmer on for. So he actually spoke about his list here on that podcast. So be sure to go check that out if you are interested. But we'll be talking more about usurpers in a little bit, though. So Jasmine, though, in second place with the Depths of Moria. Now, I'm not sure if Jasmine has used the Depths before at a GBHL 100, but it's just interesting that obviously Jasmine's a very skilled player, but that sort of Depths, you just put it in the hands and then it's immediately at second place. Obviously, it's not that easy, but it
is also worth remembering the bubbles event. One of the things is there's water on every table, and you can bring water with you. So Jasmine was taking full advantage of having the Watcher in the water. So it's kind of like, you could say, I mean, obviously Jasmine could play a good list, but she was also building for the event specifically. It wasn't. But we've seen the Barrel
Watcher do well, even not at bubbles. So
But I think that this was like, I know Jasmine was definitely taking advantage of the event special rules and combining with the Watcher and things like that to drown models.
yes, which is a very job well done to Jasmine for sure. Reading the event pack ahead of time, preparing a lovely Watcher in the Water conversion model, which was on the UEHL Facebook page, which looked very, very nice indeed. So well done to Jasmine. And then Ali King, he gets to talk about himself now. Khazad-dûm, how do you feel?
To be fair,
another day at the office.
It going into the event, I've spoken about it in some of the previews. It's like I was going on a hunch that Khazad-dûm 1 was. Because I think when it first came out, people originally were like, Khazad-dûm's amazing when it first came out, because it felt like it. And then loads of people I say loads, people I know anyway, tried it, who weren't like historic Khazad-dûm players, and they're like, I can't get, they weren't having the success with it that they thought.
Were there really? Because as we'll come into when we talk about Ardacon, there was lots of Khazad-dûms up in that top table area all weekend long. So I feel like, I don't know.
But it's who were those players? So I'll come back to it.
Fine.
So, but like quite a few people who hadn't used Khazad-dûm before were sort of like
just tried it, and then
they're going. And I think because it still plays different to any other army list that you play.
Yeah,
it's just actually quite good at it now. And the way that I keep on describing it is, it's an elite army which feels like you're playing against a horde because of the way that. You don't have to have the too deep models. You can fan out, and then you're always getting the rerolls. And so like going into it, I was like, I had an idea of how I thought it should work. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and going into the thing. And I've definitely settled on like Iron Guard were kind of maligned last edition because they always felt squishy. It's odd as a dwarf player, as soon as your model becomes D6 and it's the most expensive infantry model in your list, you're like, it feels a bit
not good.
squishy.
Yeah,
but but it gives you a real ability to hammer an anvil with this list. And it doesn't have to be Iron Guard. You can probably do it with Kazagard as well, if you prefer. But just because of where you can outflank people's sort of battle lines, because I can't remember how many it was. I think it was about 42 models or 40 models.
40-ish, yeah.
So I'm still at a reasonable model count. Is like, for example, when I played the Usurpers, I could match Farmer's Frontage, and then like the 2 attacks Iron Guard could sweep in through the flank and sort of, and then even the normal line is, because it's always rolling 2 dice and D7 and stuff like that. And the shooting was as good as everyone thought Rangers were going to be. I think it's the main thing I can say about that.
We will come on to the shooting when we talk about Articon for sure. There is more Khazad-dûm to talk about this episode. But no, if you want to hear sort of, especially the whole Iron Guard sort of conversation, Ali and Farmer sort of went very in depth on that in the preview podcast that I mentioned. So we talked about all the lists really that we were taking to the tournament in that podcast. So recommend you go and check that out. But very well done to those 3 for taking the podium spots there at One Ring to rule the bubble. Shout out to Matt indeed. But we shall move on to talking about Articon here. Ali and I were both at Articon. Obviously, I was streaming, as I mentioned. Go check out the streams. They're there. All 7 games were really, really good. So they're all there to go and watch. Ali was on the stream as well with Khazad-dûm, which we will come on to. But
best game of the weekend, wasn't it?
It was it was arguably the best game. It was a good game. I'm not gonna lie, and there was lots of support in the chat for both sides. Or actually, no, not both sides.
It's mainly for the Aussies.
Where was I'm not gonna lie, right? Where was the UK support for the in over the weekend? There wasn't much British pride in there, I must say, guys. There was loads of international viewers in there supporting their country, but no, there wasn't that many English flags in the chat, which is disappointing to see. Maybe next year. But in the number 1 spot here at Articon, there was 130-ish players or something?
115.
115. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. 115 in the singles. And there was maybe more at some of the other tournaments and things. Like overall, I think it was maybe more, but in the actual singles, it was 115. Okay. Was Adrian from France. I won't try and pronounce your last name, Adrian.
Go for it.
No. We all know I'm terrible at this. With the Usurpers of Edoras, once again. And then in second place, we have Robin, who did not have the Depths of Moria. The viewers will not see that. It will say Men of the West, as that is what Robin was using. A very interesting list with Elisar and Gandalf the White at 700 points, which we will come on to. And then in third place, Richard Spencer from the UK, doing his thing with Army of the White Hand, who we also had on stream. So we had all 3 of these players on stream. So if you want to go see how they played their armies and all that sort of stuff, again, the streams are on the channel. So I guess kicking things off, Ali, Usurpers of Edoras at the top of Articon. I mean, it's a Crebain world, and we're just living in it, right? Like this is crazy. So this is at 700 points. He has 56 models, so only 2 models less than Farmer had at 800. But he has less Crebain, but he still has 7 Crebain, which in the final came up huge against Robin. So Robin is also from France, so these are 2 players that knew each other very, very well. So obviously, it's an international tournament, people from all around the world, and it ends up being 2 friends playing on table 1 to win Articon, which was very, very cool to see.
I will say, though, it did feel like 20 to 30% of people there were speaking French this year.
Yeah, no, there was a lot. I heard a lot of French players there for sure, and they came out in force, which we will come on to in news from the mark. But so just, again, a 7 Crebain list, Usurpers. I mean, is it here to stay? There were lots of more sort of like Usurpers lists up on that top table area as well, all weekend long. Army of the White Hands as well. And I mean, just one thing, that we thought that maybe when the Armies book came out and the match play guide, these sort of more spammy lists and stuff, maybe like Army of the White Hand and Usurpers, maybe wouldn't do as well. As certain scenarios come in that maybe they struggle in more and things like that. Other things get better potentially, but here we have Usurpers winning Articon, Army of the White Hand on the podium, and those were lists that featured all weekend long on that top table area hugely. So what do you think?
It's one of these again, and like, while I didn't experience it in my current games, Articon, so it's a 2-hour time turn, like a turn. I hope you didn't have one turn in 2 hours. 2-hour game time, which I mean, even like, I know players who don't normally like have a reputation for being slower players, were there going, it felt incredibly tight, because part of the issue when you've got such a big event and like you can't just wait until everyone's ready or slightly change it. It's basically the clock will start and then you've got to go. It was going to be even worse because originally they were thinking of doing 800 points in the 2 hours. It's part of the reason why I think I like my events where possible, or ones that involved in having like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of deployment time, because almost that's kind of almost works as buffer, and then like you get 2 hours of proper game time at least.
Although, while we're on that point, because oftentimes when there is a deployment time in the rules pack, I'm not sure how you feel about this, but in my view, players should not be allowed to start the game then until...
Oh no, I say so at my event I go
right? But then there's an uneven amount of actual game time depending on how quickly you deploy, which I guess would be the case anyway. It just feels like
you haven't changed
this preset
anything.
time where everyone deploys, and if you deploy with 5 minutes spare, you wait until the round clock starts because the round hasn't officially started yet.
So the round is officially starts. For me, the deployment time is there, and if you haven't started your game by the end of this time, me as a TO...
So it's not really deployment time then, is it? It's an extended
me
round.
as a TO is going to come over and go, why are you like taking so long?
Sat there not playing.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than that being like, I've been on the end of this sometimes where it's like, you got 2 hours time limit. This happened at one of the ETC events like a few years ago where it's like, we had 2 hours time, we're playing 800 points. I didn't get to start my first movement until half an hour, so 25% of the time had already gone, and I'm just like, we're never going to conclude a game. I'm going on a complete side tangent, so apologies to everyone.
It's my fault.
But I think every game should reach the ability to end naturally in its time. So it doesn't. I know random game end could mean things go on forever, but I was discussing the other day about possibly doing a thing of you get a bonus TP if the circumstances for a natural game end have been met. So either you've broken a random game end or it's 25% has been reached. But yeah, that's good on a complete side tangent.
Let us know what you think about that.
But it goes back to the thing of going, these three, the usurpers and armored white hand are lists which can get an early advantage through numbers, Crebain, magic, whatever it may be. Especially actually with white hand, you can slow your enemy down for a turn, which I think is quite underestimated from a lot of people.
Which happened on stream against Sean. Shout out to all the Mountain Goat crew who we met at Ardacon. But yeah, he was slowed down by Richard's Army of the White Hand, and he was already getting shot to shit, and then his dwarves are moving 2.5 inches. Like, it's a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, so they get an advantage in that time, and like I know going into these games I have to play at a pace and sort of so it's quite often I'll be like just moving my models, or I'll pre-deploy my army because I know more or less where it's going to go, and I'll be like, so if my opponent does that, it's like, cool, that warband's there, that warband's there, that warband's there, because it's just there going, just getting that momentum going of keeping which I don't think, like, some people may say if you push it too much it goes into like rushing people, but if it's your own turn, then it's your own movement. It's not a large problem.
So keep things going.
So I'm not surprised those armies are still developed. Not that this is possible, but say you had a 3 hour game time.
Turn time. Okay.
Yeah, I've got turn.
He seems to be advocating for this.
Yeah, 3 hour round time. I think you'd see a bit more of a mix. Obviously, the army that came second actually was different. Yeah, no, I'll explain that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not surprised usurpers and white hand are.
No, it's just interesting. Obviously, usurpers has kind of come out of nowhere. Obviously, I was saying like we thought an army like Army of the White Hand might have fallen off with the Armies Book and Match Play Guide coming out with not just the same 6 scenarios, but obviously usurpers hadn't really. It's only really been the last like couple months really at the most, where at least over here in our sort of meta and things, and from what I've seen online, that usurpers has really come in to sort of the public eye, as it were. You know,
I think it was like
using it, but
so it's like, I know, to give him a shout out, he's a bit of a has-been, but world champion like at Into the West, the very first GBHL 100 low points. It was like, I think usurpers has got legs to it.
Yeah,
and it's one of those ones that people thought, oh, maybe it's just a low point army.
Yeah.
But
yes, which I think was the thing. But like, did he take it with Wolf at 450? Maybe he did,
no. So
spam.
so Will didn't think
Cobain,
Wolf was worth it for the reasons we mentioned earlier. Although he's, I think, been convinced round by Farmer since then. But no, it's one of those ones where it was always bubbling underneath. And I think it was just because there was the white hand frenzy was kind of stealing all the limelight.
Yes.
And it wasn't until, I know for us in the UK, it was when we went to the Nations Cup.
That's what really did
one of their really good Polish players, I've forgotten his name, used it and then played against Farmer. And then Farmer was like, oh, wow, actually. Like all those half theories we thought that they're right, they're true.
It's all of the usurpers list went, hey, we have hill tribesmen as well. You know, we can hang guys.
But we have fight for hill tribesmen, and it's and I do think White Hand isn't as strong as it was, but it's whether there's more rivals or whether it's because players have moved on, if that makes sense to
but
stuff.
I mean, is it really reflecting that much in sort of we're still talking about them on the podium spots, and I'm sure we will be in months moving forward, so we'll continue to monitor that. But we can't move on here from Articon without talking about Robin. Now, Robin from France, he was all weekend long. There were people in the chat on the live stream asking to see his list because they were looking at the lists on the scoreboard, and he was just doing super, super well. Oh, he's 3-0. He's 4-0. Oh, this list is super interesting. We want to see him on the stream. There was so many people advocating for this, as it was a list with Men of the West with Elisar and Gandalf the White with Pippin, both mounted. That's 500 points on the nose in a 700-point list on those two heroes. And then he just had a load of tin cans. So it was like 24 models, I think, in total at 700. And we finally got him on the stream. The reason we didn't earlier was because his Elisar had actually broken off the base. So we just thought if there was just going to be a base on the stream, which was meant to just be Elisar, that would have been a bit shit. But then for the final game where he was on the stream, we managed to find him someone else's. So we had him on the stream.
And then it all went wrong.
Mounted Elisar, so maybe the base, was actually doing bits. But so obviously it was a super good final. So be sure to go and check that out. But what do you think kind of on the list? Very interesting to see it sort of do so well, but he obviously played it really, really well. But what are your thoughts?
So first of all, I didn't actually see how he used it. I haven't watched the stream because I was busy at Ardacon.
Hasn't even watched it, folks.
Well, I was busy, I think, playing games with the Aussies by that point.
Yeah, you were.
In the bar.
Beating the Aussies, although we can't say that too much.
This thing goes... So when I was talking about tournament time, and I feel like it's become a theme that's stuck in my head for this months pod, but because he's got so few models and he's almost got like Tin Can, Gandalf and Aragorn, and Gandalf Force basically means Aragorn is impervious to any thing. So even White Hand or Saruman's going to struggle to stop him because he gets magic resistance. I'm pretty sure Gandalf's got what's it called? The Fortify Spirit. Aragorn can do a free heroic resolve if he wants to. It's basically it's such a quick and efficient list that you can get so many turns in. And Aragorn will just churn through. And at 700 points especially, if you can't shut him down with magic, there's very, very few things that are going to be able to take him out.
Yeah.
And while Gandalf...
Balrogs, you've got Gandalf there for, hitting all bases.
Well, Gandalf does, because Gandalf in this list doesn't get a staff, which is kind of sucky. But he's combat efficient as he is, and also for the 1 or 2 turns where maybe you do face a Balrog or someone like that, you can get away with just having his re-rolling 6 will.
Now, I think because I spoke to Robin at the event, and I'm pretty sure he said that he was using Gandalf, like he was having to do a lot of heavy lifting combat-wise as well, because is he 3 attacks now for on the chart?
I'm pretty sure he's 3 attacks, 5/6 now. He's a proper combat character. Which
is he 5/6? He's not 5/6. He's still 5/5.
I can't remember.
5/6. I think he's 5/5. But I think he was needing to, because he's investing so much, he was having to do a lot, and obviously with Pippin as well, he's got more might, more fate, more will, so he was able to sort of do.
He's 5/6.
More with him, is he?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's why he's genuinely It's the weird thing with him. Is like, so he's got strike, he's got defense. Because he's got glamdring, he's got a hand and a half elven weapon, and he hits a +1 strength. So he is as good as nearly any other combat character in the game.
I was going to say, if he's 5'5", I mean, that was kind of stupid. He should be at least 5'6", but yeah.
And then he has magic. It's just always been a thing of when you're going for him, you're paying for like, there's 200 points, so he's more expensive than Boromir, for example, and he's not quite Boromir. And then he can do the magic, so he's always been a bit of a master of all trades, sort of, but not a complete specialist. But I think at 700, almost that versatility, when you've got Aragon as his counterpart, is fine, and you can get away with it. A lot of this list, though, I will say, I don't know who he played or stuff like that, but if he comes up against the wrong army, he could easily come undone. So yeah, I
mean, like things like shooting, he has like blinding light. Like he ticks so many
3
boxes.
heroic marches. I mean, Aragon basically fixes the list.
But if there's a particular scenario, where he's facing like a horde in an objective scenario where like he has, I don't know, maybe something like Sights of Power or something, like he might not be able to sort of be in enough places at once, and the heroes can't do enough to sort of mitigate that. So, but maybe actually, those scenarios.
And just to go through part of the reason why you can get away with low models is because you can get dominant 2 within 3 inches, which helps you in those scenario thing. Then you've also can go for Frodo, so you can get that first turn or key turn depending on what you're facing, of getting like an extra fight 7 hero and Gandalf, or like fight 5 infantry and stuff like that. So it's got tricks that you can get away with the low model count. I think where it would come undone is if it was playing something which, so say another elite troop army which was pushing 40 models. So it's there going, if you can hold up Aragon and you can take out the troops, there is still a limit to what Aragon can do.
First turn or something, like once you're broken, there might not be enough of those turns. And if you get through the turns quickly, like you say, with the Men of the West list sort of having less things to do potentially, then maybe the game will end quicker than you wanted. There's more time left on the round. Who knows? But no, very, very well done to Adrian and Robin showing out for France, and obviously Richard Spencer showing out for the UK, which I think might be his first GBHL 100 podium. So big.
Yeah, he was actually unfortunate not to get into the final round because he won all of his games, but because he didn't score, he only scored I think one oath. He didn't manage to go into the top 2.
There you go. So that's a shame. Close. Okay, so now we shall move on to News from the Mark, which is the segment where we take a look at the individual and team standings in the GBHL, as well as discuss any recent news items from across MESBG. So, kicking things off by looking at the individual team the individual
team. I've infected you with
individual team standings. Yes, so we have Dave Farmer still in first place, Jakob still in second, and Connor Morris still in third, which I believe was the podium spots last month as well. I don't think the gap between Farmer and Jakob has changed much.
It's gotten slightly bigger.
No, because
Farmer's got another
won,
win now. Yeah,
he won, yes, but his other scores were so high anyway, so I think it's maybe only a few points or something.
Oh yeah, he's now at the point where it's literally...
It was like a 97.
two or 3 points you're going up. Yeah,
the most. Sort of. Yeah. So anyway, but those are the same. Now, it's just really interesting. I must say, the amount of times this year when I've been making this table, I have moved John Partridge and Stephen Denby up and down one fucking thing. So John has overtaken Denby again. I must say, John's having a hell of a year. He's got like 4 scores over 95 now or something, or like 93. Like he's having a solid year.
Yeah, so John's... It's weird when you look at it. So Connor's got good top podium score, like as in he's got 100 and stuff like that. John doesn't, but what John's got is a bunch of like very consistent like mid-90s scores.
And then a few slightly lower. But
whereas Denby's got a few podiums, but then he's not got the consistent 90+ scores. Like his sort of his 4th, 5th, 6th scores, I think, are in the 80s sort of. And also worth pointing out, you've got I don't know if Richard Spencer's only just joined in, but
he is a new attendee in the top 10. Shout out to him if he's watching for sure.
And it doesn't look like he's got a team, so maybe someone wants him next year. Has he got a team?
I know. When I was looking, I was like, there's no team there.
Yeah,
could be someone eyeing him up. You never know.
Yeah, and I don't know how much. Because I can't remember what the top 10 was last night. Jasmine, obviously, was her second place.
Jasmine was not in. I believe she was in like 14th. So Jasmine also coming in. So 2 Team Knots players now, which we hate to see because they stole first place from us last year. Yes. So.
I think Tom Seacon was the main one who dropped, who actually...
how the Seacon... he's fallen.
Although it's very close between him and Denby at the moment.
I know. But, I was like, well, and obviously this is my maths as well because Denby has not updated the rankings yet.
No, Denby will make sure he's above anyway.
Accurate. To be fair, I should have actually put it the other way around for that specific reason. To break up the Any Heroics Team Knots sandwich that's been there for a number of months now.
Worth pointing out as well, Tom was against Jasmine playing for second essentially at Bubbles.
Oh really? I see. Okay. Because although he still stayed ahead, so he maybe got the last laugh. Although I'm sure he would have preferred.
Yeah. Although if he'd gotten that second, he may have been back up somewhere near John.
True. Yes.
And there is someone waiting in the shadows.
At some point, yes, there is. Oh well, he has to. What I actually brought this up to Ali, but Ali only has 5 scores at the moment. So once Ali gets another score, if he gets another score of like roughly 85-ish, which is obviously well within his abilities, he's going to skyrocket up into the very top of this top 10 here, probably into 3rd place, maybe 4th. But are you going to be getting to another tournament? Do you have which tournaments do you have?
I haven't really got any lined up specifically at the moment, but I may just go to the league finale and say Denby manages to claw his way up to 3rd, and then I'll just come in and then I'll just ruin his hopes and his dreams. You're going to leave it down to
one tournament though. You know, you've got one tournament to get a good score up. Why don't you just go to a 90 and win it, and then just
you can't
podium the league?
Despite contrary to belief, you can't just go to a 90 and win it.
Well, but you know, as in, like, you know, don't leave it to the very last tournament of the year.
But think of the drama.
A long time. I know that would be for the live stream. That would be yes. It's a script that we're setting up here, folks. Yeah, sure. Okay, love it.
And then on the team stuff, I don't think anything's changed.
So I will tell you what has changed. So nothing in the bottom 7 positions have changed, but above that there have been some changes. So we've had Team Pigmar being bounced by the Bucky Berserkers. Pigmar were in 5th, and they've been bounced down to 5th.
Didn't you just say nothing happened in those 7?
No, I said in the bottom 7
of the top 10.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I meant okay, fine. I meant from 7 down.
Okay.
The bottom. Yeah, okay, for sure. The bottom 7 is from 4 down. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, from 7 down, nothing happened, but from 6 upwards, yes. So Pigmar are now down to 6th, and also the Guardians have been bounced by Team Knots. The Guardians were in 3rd on the podium, and Team Knots coming up into 3rd with Jasmine's podium. Is what got them up there. And also, we have also slightly edged ahead on Any Heroics, even more than before, which I love to see, because Jay got a slightly better score from Ardacon. Very slightly. It was like 1.5, but I was I'm not going to sell it short. I'm putting that in.
Did Jay finish 10th then?
I think he finished 10th. Yeah. So if I've done my maths right.
Yeah, cool. I finished 6th, just for anyone who's wondering.
Yes, well, we were going to come on to that, but that did not change, yes, because like all of your scores are like above, even though you've only got 5.
I've got one which is like 85 or something like that, which is from Into the West.
And then the others are like all above like 93 or something.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. So anyway, and he finished 6th, but we will come on to that in a moment. So those are the team standings. So hopefully we stay in front as we head towards the end of the year. But in terms of news items, I mean, since you brought it up, we may as well start with the elephant in the room here, Ardacon. There's been a lot of discourse about, and I mean, we have someone here from the Team England, the Team UK, the Gollum's Gamers Hog. It was the best.
The official name is Gollum's Heroic Hog.
That were okay, fine. But it was the team of the probably best UK players that were at Ardicon all on one team, and obviously
outside of the Wanderers and the Wild.
Fine, fair enough. Of current GBHL tournament attendees, shall we say,
and the Scots.
Frequent. Yes. Okay, frequent. Fine. Whatever. Yes. I mean, that was probably the team that like the Aussies were looking to come ahead of, and other nations as well. And the Aussies did do that, so we will give them their hand as they came second. Ali will not, because he has famously trashed the Aussies on the.
They were still terrible at the game. They're just. Nice. They're quite nice people, actually.
They were nice people. We had a good time.
I mean, put it this way, I smashed up Jude on stream. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Here we go. Yes, no, but that game is there. I mean, so that was one of my highlights from the weekend. So would recommend, if you're going to go and watch one of the games, the one between Ali and Jude from Australia, would be one to go and check out for sure. Khazad v Balrog, very themey. It's hitting all the.
It's actually a lot closer than it looks for the first half of the game.
Yes, although yes, don't watch the first half, because Ali had. Well, no, we won't say, but the shooting was very, very good from Khazad. There's more to it than meets the eye, for sure. But Ali managed to finish sixth there at Ardicon. But yes, the Aussies obviously came in second, so they got their revenge from last year over the GBHL quote-unquote All-Stars team from last year. But they did still come in second, though. So is it really...
But also, they weren't a purely Aussie team, so I'm not quite sure it counts. So,
although I'm not sure there were some sort of UK players they had. I mean, should we really be calling them UK players anymore? I mean, are we going to group them in with us?
No, it's like when it's the Olympics, because the Aussies have us on a quarter of their flag. We get to take 25% of their points.
That seems fair. And seeing as we had UK players who were on the team, not just one, I might add. Then that's
so we get 25% of their points that their top four players got, and therefore we actually
so we came joint second, really.
Well, for me above them
at the worst. It probably bumps them down to third, really. Sure. But no, well done to the Aussies. They did well. They performed well. We had three of them on the channel over the weekend.
I will say, I do think it's I haven't played all of the Aussie contingents in previous years of Ardicon, but this year actually seemed like the strongest contingent of Aussie players, which isn't to blow smoke up the Mountain Goat Gaming guys, but in terms of having spoken to them, seen their games, and played two of them, that they were there for a good time, and also for a pretty effective competitive time.
And they did do that. They came second, so very, very well done indeed. But it was the French who came out in force at Ardicon.
The old enemy.
They did, yes. And they did very, very well. They claimed the first spot. We had three French players, the two in the final, and then we had another guy whose name I forget, who was using Lothlorien on earlier on in the tournament. So they came first. They did super well. Obviously, at the Nations Cup, they've done pretty well historically, have they? Or like ETCs and things?
They didn't this year. So I don't know whether they...
last year I'm thinking of?
So last year they did quite well at the Nations Cup. I think they were either second or third, or like they at least were around that. Usually, in terms of the international tournament scenes, the four main historic, I guess, powerhouses would be Poland, GB, France, and Italy, and then I'd say Germany are also usually poking their head up. Sorry to any countries that I haven't named, you can come and beat us next year at the Nations Cup.
Get your Nations Cup tickets, folks.
But they usually are the largest, and they're normally the countries which have like multiple teams as well. But this year they didn't seem to do that well at the Nations Cup. I don't know whether they were focusing more on Ardicon, because there seemed to be definitely a concerted effort from them to come and win Ardicon this year.
Yeah, maybe they did Ardicon. They did the Nations Cup last year, and I wanted to focus more on
that is a
Ardicon
thing that people tend to like rotate which ones they focus on. Yes. So they were there in force. Ardicon has the bonus that they don't have to play each other, so they're not knocking each other out.
Helped us a lot last year, especially.
They didn't quite do the GBHL All Stars where we went 1, 2, 3, 4.
They tried, but They did very, very well. So shout out to the French team and obviously the Aussies as well, and all of the UK guys, as we did manage to come third. So in terms of sort of news across MESBG, there's no sort of other GBHL sort of news, but there has been quite a number of reveals and things that we haven't done emergency podcasts on. So I'm sure there were people, as I've been told by certain viewers, that as soon as they see an article come up, they immediately then check our channel straight afterwards to see the emergency pod. But no, we haven't done any, only because sort of there's just been reveals of new models and sculpts, and sort of not so much in terms of like to discuss in terms of like rules or other details in the articles. So that's why we haven't done them if you were waiting for an emergency pod and you didn't get one. But I guess first of all, I think the first thing that came up was the new Helm Hammerhand model, or the first one that was released. Obviously we were unsure for a while if we were going to get a new Helm Hammerhand model, because it was kind of dragging on, and I don't know, I mean, it seemed like we should, but like, why haven't they announced it yet? But yes, they've come out with the new Helm model. Now obviously, Ali, you've seen the film. Is it quite accurate?
I still can't believe you haven't seen the film.
Yeah, I'm sort of just like standing on that now. I'm just like, I haven't watched it.
It's too cool for school. But to be fair, he looks exactly like in his armor as he does in the film where he's going for a charge. Even down to how they've painted him, which admittedly I tend to prefer a more realistic looking paint color scheme. However, he does look like exactly like that in the anime. It is a literal screen to model transition, so I will definitely give them credit for that. And I'm pretty sure if you're like me, you could probably paint it slightly different. Like that.
I mean, if I'm on it, I
was going to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the helmet, but then that was the design from the film, so I prefer the helmetless head, or I'd maybe take off the horns bit, so he's less of a horny man.
Oh dear, we're going there. I don't know what it is. I like the sort of red armor that it's got on the horse, but I think it's his armor that I don't like. It gives me sort of Warhammer 40k vibes.
I think that's the hyper extreme colors though, because that tends to be more what you got in like AOS or Fantasy. I think because the contrast is turned up to 1 million at the moment on the painting. I think if you turn down, so also that's an interesting thing on horses that we learned recently is historically SBG horses haven't been true to scale. Whereas if you look at the new horses, but you know how everyone's on about Targ's horse looked like absolute chunks, and like it's similar with the new horses. It's because the new horses are built to scale, or designed to scale for how horses should be, as opposed to how they were originally designed. So that's why
they do look wrong compared to everything else, but
they're actually right. So
bear that in
which
mind.
I'm not saying which way is better or not, but it's a design choice direction, it sounds like, to make it more accurate.
Yes, which isn't a bad thing. And I do actually quite like the on foot model as well, with the pose there, with the weapon sort of upside down. I think the on foot model looks better.
I think
the armor.
For me, I'm assuming the head on the mounted one can be swapped out for the helmets. This one, but I quite like them both. I think they're both really good. And actually, I think one advantage of having absolute chunky horses is they're probably less likely to have ankle breakage. Because normally I'd be worried about that, but it does look like some thick calves on that horse. So
some thick calves indeed. Okay.
Calves could have been a horse pun as well. Oh, I missed that one.
Oh dear. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Is the next sort of reveal that we had was for Frelaf and Olwyn, which are being put in a box, a plastic sort of 3 hero box set, along with Leaf, who we saw revealed a few months ago, I think it was. So it's 3 mounted heroes with their dismount. So it's a 6 model plastic kit only for heroes, which there have been similar things to that before, but nothing quite like that, all in plastic. 3 heroes mounted with dismounts. And I kind of wanted to do an emoji podcast on this at the time, only because I thought that this was something very unique that we've never seen before for those reasons. And I'm wondering what this means moving forward for I don't know. Like I think a lot of this War of the Rohirrim stuff, like having the Hill Tribesmen and the new Rohan infantry, is maybe just a bit of an isolation thing for the War of the Rohirrim. But obviously, there's other people that have the thought that, oh, we're going to get new plastic Rohan riders as well. But I'm not sure, because we're getting this stuff, it means that there's going to be like a range refresh of old plastic models and things. I'm not quite sure it means that. But I don't think it means nothing that we're now getting sort of these plastic hero kits like this. I think this is really cool. What do you think?
Shall I tell you what it means?
Go on then.
Okay, so this is more based on stuff I've known in the past, not actually like just when it comes to the design processes. GW will usually assign a certain amount of, you can have this many plastic kits to sell and like this many products, and that's how many you can do. So if by putting all these guys in one box, and gals, to be fair, and they're either going to be on one sprue or two sprues when they're going in the box, and it's basically that will count as one plastic kit whether they had just the footer mounted model or whether they had 3 footer mounted.
They do still need to design more models like this, though.
Yeah,
I think it's still a unique choice to put it.
So they've gotten so much more efficient with their sprue usage. If you compare, like, say, one of our plastic kits that came out in 2003 or 4 or whenever, compared to a plastic kit that came out recently,
the way they fit all on the sprue,
like there is so much more stuff on them, and like in terms of for them when they're making a model and all of that stuff, it may take longer to design, but in terms of producing a kit, it doesn't actually matter how much is there. It's like a fraction more in terms of actual plastic material when they're doing the mold. So it's probably just the team being like, oh, all these models need a new thing, like a model. We can't, like, the higher ups won't let us do 3 separate plastic kits for them. It's like, do you reckon we can fit them all onto like one bigger sprue?
Well, but then they could have, but they could have, gone down the route of doing all of these potentially as like Forge World models. But obviously, they're wanting to do all of the Rohan, the War of the Rohirrim stuff.
So I think they probably couldn't do all 3 on Forge World in the same way on one sprue. I think because of the material.
No. But I think it's a lot. They make. Over the last sort of number of years, they've generally tend to made more Forge World hero kits and these like 3 troop kits, 3 troops in a Forge World kit compared to doing plastic stuff. But now everything's in plastic, and now we're getting sort of like bigger boxes. It is a shift compared to how.
I think SBG and Middle Earth more specifically, I guess, has the proof of concept was kind of last edition, going, hey, we'll give you support, we'll see how you sell. You are selling, we'll give you a few plastic kits for like the big characters we know will sell. And then it's probably the team now has a bit more jurisdiction,
I wonder if that
is
the case, because let's say that is the case, then obviously, and maybe they have some more rope to do more of this War of the Rohirrim stuff in plastic. I do find it interesting that they are maybe choosing to do kits like these as opposed to maybe doing some of the range refreshes. Like I would argue that I think sort of seeing some of these, I don't know, like a Gil-galad on a horse or things like this, key profiles that people love and have done for a very long time, to not do those and choosing to do these instead. Sure, they tie into the film and it's a new release, or it's a new thing, the film and everything they're doing for War of the Rohirrim. I would think that redoing some of those more traditional,
well, it's always going to be a thing.
Would do better.
It's always going to be the trade-off going, are you going to sell more models of something that hasn't existed previously? Or are you going to, like, put it this way, I've got Rohan Warriors. I haven't bought any of the new Rohan Warrior plastic kits. The fact is that can go in the starter box set, and it's probably, I think you could probably do it for the main faction. So you could redo like a Minister of Warrior one, and you could do like sort of orcs if you wanted, or something like that. I don't think something like Khazad Dwarf Warriors, there would be any sort of priority in redoing them.
I think redoing something like the Minas Tirith Warriors or Riders of Rohan or something, if they're not going to do that,
they may be down the line.
Well, maybe, but if I'm not sure that all this War of the Rohirrim stuff does mean that, and if it doesn't, I would argue that doing some of that stuff would probably sell better than doing, say, this box of 3. I'm not sure how many people personally are going to be that into this box.
Well, you're saying it from a competitive person's
no.
viewpoint.
I think. I mean,
so put it this way, this excites me more than if they redid the Riders of Rohan.
Really?
And I'm more likely to buy this than I am New Riders of Rohan.
Interesting.
Because I'm there going, I own Riders of Rohan, and it's like, but it's more of a. I mean, the thing is, these guys needed models, and there is a preference generally to produce plastic kits where they can. And it may just be a case of when they're having, I don't know how the discussion gets made, when they're having the discussion going, oh, we want to do these in plastic, it may be beyond the Middle-earth team that they're going.
I find it interesting that
there's a film coming out with these guys, so we're going to authorize this as a plastic kit.
I find it interesting that they chose it for these models to be plastic over some other things. But maybe
it doesn't mean those other things won't, though.
No, for sure. I just I find it, I mean, maybe everything had to be plastic for World War here, and that was known going into it. Maybe.
It would be different if these guys didn't have a model. I think if this all came out on the release of War Rohan, because bearing in mind, like, it's always been a bit weird that you can tell there was a bit of a timeline sort of not quite lining up perfectly, because it's just odd that we haven't had models for this big release that came out, or like half of them. Like the fact we didn't even have Helm or Hera for like ages and stuff like that. And then like Freelaf. So it kind of complete. I mean, it doesn't quite complete it, but it more or less completes the sort of
it's making the release schedule sort of a bit more. They're sort of longing it out a bit and sort of making. Sort of building new interest in it, I guess, which isn't such a bad thing.
And the other sort of thing about putting all three of them in the box, if you want to be slightly, I don't know what the word is, but a lot of people may want Leaf, or may just want Owen, or may just want Freelaf.
Yeah, so now they're going, well.
And it's like,
baby.
And like you never really know whether like one may become really like popular or meta defining and stuff like that. If they sell them all together,
maybe that's part of. That's what I'm saying. Where maybe individually they wouldn't sell that well compared to something like an
I do think is like they wouldn't qualify as an individual plastic kit together.
But you see why not?
It's two birds.
Don't have that same. That's what I'm saying. So they don't have that same sort of.
Yeah, as the theme of the episode, it's two birds with one stone. Basically,
which is fair enough.
It only counts as one plastic kit for probably their maximum quotas, and it means that any characters you may or may not have sold super well individually, you'll probably get an increase in sales.
Yeah, maybe so. So
also on the actual models themselves, though, I love all of them. I actually think they all look really good.
There's only one I don't like, and one I'm sort of a little bit thinking on. I don't like the dismount for Olwyn, really. I think the mounted one looks a lot better.
I can kind of get that.
I'm not the biggest fan.
How old do you think Olwyn's meant to be, by the way?
Dismount. See, I haven't seen the film, so from that dismount,
just from that,
I'm getting like
seeing the film doesn't necessarily help.
I'm getting grandma vibes. Is she like 20?
No, apparently she's like mid-40s or something like that.
Oh, okay,
but
yeah. See,
it's really hard to tell how old she's meant to be in the film.
See, but the one on the horse there, at least from the picture that I'm looking at now, which isn't that close up, the horse one looks a bit younger, but then the dismount one looks really quite old. So I don't know.
A lot of it will be paint scheme, to be honest, as much as anything.
Fair enough. And then the particular picture that I'm looking at. But then the Frelaf one as well. I like the dismount pose. I think that's cool. I don't like that. It's just the same pose for Frelaf that is like Hurin and Elrond. It's just so samey, and we see that a lot. But again,
to be fair, I didn't think about that. I actually really like his mounted model.
I do like it. Like, it looks cool when you just look at it in a vacuum. If you didn't have any knowledge of other ones, it looks sick. But just like it's so similar to lots of other ones.
I do think the face paintings made him needlessly looking like very angry and squinty. But it's sort of
the mounted one. Well, he's on
the foot one as well. You know? It's sort of like, but yeah, no, like I really like the model.
Sorry, I've just opened up a much bigger view, and yes, the paint job on the foot one is quite funny.
I mean, it is the color scheme from the film actually, but I do really like his like white and green.
It's a pretty cool, that's a cool color scheme.
But yeah, no, I think they were really good, and like in the past, sort of when they first started doing plastic heroes, and that I sometimes felt that they were a little bit lifeless. Like, as in, until I see these in person. But I do feel, oddly enough, weirdly, these three feel like they've got more actual real life human qualities to them, despite coming from the anime designs than
He's
some
seeing
of the
the
others.
soul come through here from the anime sort of.
Yeah. Whereas weirdly, that's possibly my problem. Like, I don't mind the helm one, but I don't think it has. It doesn't feel as like soulful.
No, these
to steal your coin.
these are a bit more Middle Earthy,
Yeah.
I think, compared to helm, but that's just because it's not as like AOS sort of looking. But maybe that's just the armor sort of thing, like we said. So anyway, these are cool. They look good. I'm sure people will buy them. I probably won't buy them.
I wonder whether it also means we'll start seeing more lists from
maybe so.
good side of Warhammer. Now we've actually got those models.
We do. So, yeah, maybe so. And then the final thing we will talk about, because there was a bit of an uprising about the Catapult Troll, which was finally released, along with the War Drakes as well. The price over the big bad boy, he is 140 quid here in the UK.
Yeah,
140 pounds. Which is a lot of money in other currencies, Australian dollars and stuff.
It's a lot of money in our currency.
Yes, it is in our currency as well. But yes, I mean, so I was comparing it to the Gundabad Troll with Scythe Gauntlets, because that was like the biggest, most expensive, like Forge World troll that they've done really for Middle Earth, and it's currently listed at like just under 80 quid, and I thought it was more than that when I bought it, but maybe it was like 60 or something. This was a number of years ago now, but yeah, 80 quid for that one. So this one's 140. It's like they're getting towards twice the price, like a 40% increase or something. So it must be a pretty big troll. And Ali and I were talking before we came on, like the base is obviously a lot bigger, but I'm wondering, is it almost twice as much actual troll? Like,
well, it's not actually twice as much troll. It's twice as much model, though, because of where you've got the whole catapult and like.
Yes,
that's probably quite a little fiddly and loads of bits as well.
Yeah, sure, and a lot of design. Now, there was a good article that went up on Warhammer Community where they talked about the whole design process, which was a really cool read. But if sort of a lot of that money is just going into the catapult design on the top, sure, that's really cool. But for £140, you're expecting quite a like a big troll, and if it's sort of the same size as the Gundabad one with Scythe Gauntlets, you're going to probably be a bit like, oh, this is sort of just the same sort of level of troll. If it was huge, that would be pretty fun. I
think it is bigger than the Gundabad troll, but it looks. Till you put it side by side, it's hard to tell. But
it does. Yeah.
I think it's. I honestly think it's probably the biggest model we've ever had, apart from the Mimikill. And I'd be interested to see it next to the Mimikill.
See, make it Mimikill size. That'd be funny. Oh no! And I read in that article that they put up. Yeah, if it were to stand, if it were to stand on its hind legs, it would be as big as a Mimikill. Or if it were to like stand up, maybe with its arms up. I don't know.
Well, the problem is because you've then also got like the catapult on top, so it's there going. You say like I don't know where you're measuring to sort of
I don't know. That's what it says here. Hold on. Let's. I actually have the. Here we go. I base its proportions on the Gundabad ogres, which come up to his midriff. Standing up, it would actually be taller than a mummock. So just standing up. I don't know what that means. It doesn't say arms up, so that's just standing up on its legs.
But it sounds like it is massive, and I mean. Okay. People say what they want about Games Workshop prices. It could have been worse. It could have been better.
It could have been worse.
It's probably fallen around about where I would have expected it to be. I was thinking somewhere between 120 and 150.
Forge World is expensive as well, so fair enough. But, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is actually really cool. Like as a centerpiece model goes, it's not like one where I think
it's a bit mid.
Yeah, it's like if you want it. And you're going to spend the money on
it.
You
were going to buy it anyway. If it was 140 or 180, you're buying it anyway.
You're probably quite happy. I'll be interested to see, though, how easily it is to build.
Yes, especially the catapult bit. I mean, the troll has to be not too hard, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
and actually, the thing is, you've got like a little mini squad of Goblin Mercenaries on there as well.
Are notoriously known for being pretty hard to build, I believe, or frustrating. So anyway, we shall see. I won't be buying one, but I hope to see one at our tournament. So anyway, we shall now move on to the upcoming events for next month, for this month, for September. So first of all, we have Of Dice and Men, held in Ripon, which is a 500-point event with 6 games, hosted by World Champion. I believe there are tickets still available for that. And also, the Lemon Cup. our very first GBHL 100, held at 777 points. Can you guess why? We have put the points level to be 777. Let us know. There is a reason behind it. Also, a 6-game event. We will be live streaming it, so be sure to check that out here on the channel. But yes, those are the 2 GBHL 100s from next month. And Ali has put together a host of the Dragon Emperor list at 777 points, as if he was going to the Lemon Cup. I mean, he is going, but he's going to be TOing. This might be the type of thing that he would take or expect to do well, potentially. We haven't spoken about the Emperor too much, new Emperor, on the channel. So, Ali, thoughts behind this list here?
Well, so part of the reason why I chose the Emperor for this one is because, weirdly, despite it being like one of the big first leagues and everyone being like, the Emperor's still cracked, we haven't actually seen
podcast on that.
Yeah,
no,
we haven't seen it. And it could be the particular events, it could be the points level, it could be because
everyone trying new things.
Or a fear of dragons. It's
Pipe
sort of there you go. But I still think it's a legitimate choice. So just as a quick rundown, you've got the Dragon Emperor, who's then leading 10 Black Dragon Warriors with the Eastling Halberd. So it's a long month, this one. 6 Dragon Cult Acolytes, an Eastling Cataphract with War Drum. Then you have Rutabi with 9 normal Eastling Warriors with Halberd and Shield, an Eastling Cataphract, and then a Eastling Dragon Knight with Flea. God.
Jesus Christ, Ali, after you just read it out.
Yeah, 3 Black Dragons with Halberd. Oh God, fuck it.
Halberd and 3 Acolytes. He made it, folks, to the end. 36 models, 770 points, 9 throwing weapons. Ali King, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so basically, most people still love the idea of your fight 5, your block, you sit it in the middle, you go through and you munch and you crunch and stuff like that.
Fun.
Yeah, big banner. The list can still do that. If anything, in some ways it does it a bit better because if you got 2 pike supports, you get +1 to wound.
On that note, just quickly before we move on, because I can't move past that point without saying that is so good for Ratabi. Ratabi was already so good, and the fact that you could Blade Wrath Ratabi to be strength 6 and stuff, just Ratabi anyway was so good. And now she's got 10 points more expensive, so she stayed the same, but now you can give her blanket +1 to wound for the whole game. That is so good and makes her stupidly good, I think.
Say for the whole game, for the initial turns anyway, once stuff starts breaking
down. You only need 2 pikes. I mean, are you going to put 2 pikes behind anything else over Ratabi? No.
So this does link into why I've not gone the Bro Gear option. I mean, obviously, for anyone who listened to us last edition, I quite like Dragon Knights anyway. But the Dragon Knights, again, they've gone up to fight 6, so they're going to be out fighting everything, and they can benefit from that +1 to wound as well by double stacking.
No strike though, but they were a very nice cheap striker, but obviously that's not as important of a thing as it maybe was before. But
or not as effective anyway. But being that,
yes.
So you can get Ratabi and the Dragon Knight proper chomping through like troops and stuff like that. You still got Rutabi, who's got the Master of Battle, so it's still on a 3+. So that's still really useful and will probably give you a bit of a might advantage. The Dragon Emperor is still the Dragon Emperor. I don't know if he got worse in terms of any of his stats.
I don't think he
he went up to fight 7.
The banner.
Yeah, and having a fight 7 model is incredibly useful. He's a great general. There's no 2 ways about it. The rules got a little bit more simple for the Pankrin, I think. Can't remember exactly, but the 6-inch banner still does what you want. He now makes people reroll 1s to wound. It's basically that block has become killier, but your numbers have gone down a little bit because you are having to pay for your Black Dragons now.
Yeah, 36 almost 800 points. I mean, it is, compared to what it was last edition, this list would be at 44, even with paying for the Acolytes and all that sort of stuff. But obviously you have invested more points in the Acolytes, but obviously they're not actually that many more points now compared to the Black Dragons.
They're the same points.
Oh, they're the same. I thought maybe the Acolytes were 1 more. But
no, they're exactly the same points.
There you go. So
equally, I quite like the Dragon called Acolytes. So you got a few of them here.
Always been We've got 9, which is a lot.
Again, like if you want to double stack a Dragon Cult Acolyte, you can do, and then they get +1 to wound as well. So like suddenly they're really killy. I wouldn't necessarily always run it that way though. They're good in a bit like how I was on about using Khazad-dûm and the Iron Guard previously, and being flankers, just having 2 attacks. Well. You can do some cool stuff still with their supreme agility of jumping over and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably squeak another 2 models out of it if you were to drop the Acolytes, probably.
To be fair, I actually tried. You can't. You sort of.
So what, you'd save 18 points if you drop them all and change them to dudes with.
If you then. Yeah, which isn't really doing.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that you probably could get it to 38, but then.
Yeah. But because actually it's 10 points for Eastern Warrior with Halberd and Shield. So if you went
for just... not 2 points less? Oh.
No, it's only 2 points less if you don't take the Halberd.
I see. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, fair share. Yeah. So yes, well, what Ali's done here, so he's got the Acolytes, he's got no Easterlings with Shield. Because my view would be that if you're going to run no Acolytes, you may as well just have Halberds everywhere so that you can, at the front, get your +1 from having 2 pikes behind, but then you can also go 2-hand at the front with the Halberds, which was the thing that
which is the thing, like
stupidly dumb, but it is pretty cracked.
But yeah, the Acolytes also mean you don't have to fight in a pike block if there's a reason why it happens. Yes. You can use them and they're just weight of dice. Okay, you may lose the +1 to wound, but you're still getting enough.
More options with them.
Throwing weapons are cool. And obviously the War Drum's gone up in points, but it's still amazing. So where you may be worried about being shot by a lot of lists, especially with the Acolytes being D4, you can keep them safe behind and you can close that gap still really quickly. And it means you don't need a March hero.
Yeah. And there is, so like, if you don't want to go with Ratabi, I'm not sure you can actually really drop Ratabi and get many more models, really.
No,
because,
it becomes an awkwardness of...
the Dragon Knights are only...
Warband capacities, and...
it's a bit tricky.
Stuff, But no, I think it's still really good. The model count's a little bit lower than you'd want, but then you are an elite army. You do move fast. You shouldn't really be worrying about shooting stuff. The only thing that really scares you is a dragon breathing fire on the Dragon Emperor and him becoming a massive 2-inch bomb.
Although there's a particular event coming up later this year where monsters aren't going to be as good as they maybe were anyway, so I might be taking this to that, baby.
And I will say, I think the dragon fad is not the dominant competitive army. It's more of an annoying, unfortunate circumstance. And it's not impossible if you do play it. Like, you just maybe have to deploy, spread out, and then...
I beat a dragon list in the first time I played dragons. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I won anyway. So, and that's not through me being good. That's through dragons being bad.
No viewers worried about it's because you've suddenly become incredibly skilled.
I just thought I'd put that out there before someone thought that that's what I was trying to suggest. But obviously they knew that anyway, that I was not. But yes, Emperor, I want to try. I used it a lot last edition. I have tried it, of course, but only in solo hammer games. I want to try it at a tournament soon, so maybe later this year. Okay, so we shall leave it there for the upcoming events. The Lemon Cup, go get your tickets. But I think we are just about ready to close things out. But first, our final segment, One Question to Rule Them All, where we close out every episode with a question from the audience. So be sure to leave your question down in the comments here on YouTube for next time. But today, we have a question from The Sleepless Painter 3634, who says, Army of Thrawn needs the throwing weapon exception. And some mechanic for getting free marches. So that's his view on Army of Thrawn. Now, it's not so much a question. We didn't get many questions last month, so leave your questions down below for next month. But as Ali is obviously a keen dwarf player, user, he loves them, short men. He is a short man, so there we go.
I'm not.
No, I can't really speak.
I actually think I'm second tallest in the team. Not that I'm tall. Our team is quite short. The tallest? I'm assuming James is. Yeah,
I think it would be James. Yeah, sure. But yes, so as you've used dwarves, obviously, do you think that these are the things that Army of Thrawn needs to catapult it back up to its former glory? What do you think?
I mean, I'd say former glory is still an exaggeration of where it was.
I was trying to build it up, but
shoot
me down.
See if 50% throwing weapon allowance at least, so you can take Grim Hammers.
So you're agreeing with the Sleepless Painter?
Yeah. I mean, having 3 marches would be amazing. I don't think it's a realistic one. And
the Erebor reclaimed treatment, but does it need some sort of movement mechanic or something to?
It doesn't. I mean, I always try and think when it comes to those rules, it's like, is there a way you can justify it in the law? And I'm not quite sure you can. So as much as I would love a free movement mechanic, I don't think Army of Thor would get one. You may be able to do similar to what Erebor Reclaimed got, which is they can march and charge in the same turn or something like that.
I think that might be the kind of thing that he's alluding to.
But yeah,
free, but...
and I suppose maybe you could say them walking across the mountains or something like that. Who knows?
Did they get a mountain dweller or something? Or do they?
Well, yeah, half of them did. But this actually relates to me. The main thing they need is Erebor Dwarf Warriors to basically go back down a point, and like, because you compare them to Khazad-dûm Dwarf Warriors, and for 1 point more, you get Mountain Dweller, and you get 1 less intelligence, which I'm convinced is a typo, because I don't see how like that.
How can that be a thing?
Yeah. And then bearing in mind Khazad-dûm get all these other bonuses like reroll 1s to wound and like 2s.
Yeah. So it's like, how can they be a point more?
Yeah, and I think you could tweak the army bonus, which is they get +1 to wound when they're not in control of an objective, like fighting against people with objects and stuff. Yeah, it's really weirdly specific. Let me just get the exact wording, because
it's not when they are. Or...
So friendly Erebor models gain +1 to wound when making strikes against an enemy model that is in possession of an objective marker.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then additionally, friendly Erebor models that are within their deployment zone reroll 1s when making strikes.
So they get re-rolling 1s where
only in a deployment zone
gets +1 to wound in the deployment
zone. It's easier compared to when Khazad-dûm just get reroll 1s to wound, like
just
without any stipulation. So I think you could give them the reroll 1s to wound across the whole board. And I would change the Treasure Hoard bonus to make you get +1 to wound when making strikes against enemy models when they're within, like, on any objective. So if you're on hold ground or something like that, that would suddenly make the army like scary.
For those objective scenarios, you're like, fuck, anytime we're within.
They still won't be able to shoot. They still won't be able to like.
But that gives them another
move quick. But that
dynamic for sure.
Because the problem is at the moment they don't really hit very hard unless if you get the Grim Hammers at strength 4, which are very limited on what you can take. Even more so because the Dwarf Warriors have gone up by a point, and all your heroes have gone up by 10 points or 15
You've got
points.
Even less points to play with. It's all
so it's it was death by a million cuts, and I think the way that you fix it is you kind of have to heal all of those cuts pretty much.
The only way to fix it is to make everything that's bad good, and then they'll be good again.
Yeah, if I could change one thing, it is put the Warriors back down 1 point. It is the thing more than anything that's killed that list in my mind.
Yes. Let us know what you think about that. The Sleepless Painter and any other keen Army of Thor players for sure. But okay, I think that's going to close out. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And obviously, get your Lemon Cup tickets. We'll see you at the Lemon Cup live stream in a couple of weeks. We'll be doing a preview for that as well. So keep your eyes out for that coming soon. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of MESBG Monthly here from the Gollum's Gamers.